Clark. I think the WNBA, and therefore I guess the NBA, is making really bad business decisions. But most importantly, this is on the players, and some players just aren't being smart about how they're handling, frankly, the biggest star that their league has ever seen. So I want all of us to put our feelings aside for a second and simply look at the facts. Look at this from a business perspective. Since she was drafted in 2024 out of Iowa, Caitlin has the most jersey sales of any basketball player in the world, except for Stephen Curry. Yes, even more than LeBron James or Giannis Antetokounmpo or Victor Wembanyama. A woman has the most jersey sales, second only to Stephen Curry. And frankly, that is something that nobody...
Jersey sales don't lie, and what we just heard reveals something the WNBA has never experienced before. Caitlin Clark has the second highest jersey sales of any basketball player on the planet. Not second in women's basketball, not second in the WNBA. Second in all of basketball, trailing only Steph Curry. She's outselling LeBron James. She's outselling Giannis Antetokounmpo. She's outselling Victor Wembanyama. A rookie in a league that's struggled for decades to gain mainstream attention is moving more merchandise than NBA superstars who've been household names for years. But here's where it gets complicated. Because while those jersey sales are changing the financial reality of the WNBA, they're also creating a tension that's becoming impossible to ignore.
Even predicted, dreamt of, anything. So what does that type of popularity do to the league from a business perspective? It is insane what's happened. TV ratings, massive. They were up 170% her rookie year, and they've stayed up during all three of her WNBA seasons. Unprecedented. That, of course, means the league can charge advertisers more and therefore make more money. And yes, players benefit from that. Also, nobody wants to talk about the new CBA, the collective bargaining agreement that went into effect this season. Looking at player salaries, they're up an average of 356% across the board, from minimum to maximum to average, 356%. The salary cap for each team is through the roof also, from $1.5 million a year to $7 million a year salary cap. That's up 367%. Now, is all of that just because of Caitlin Clark? Of course not.
170%. That's how much TV ratings jumped during Caitlin's rookie year in 2024. And they haven't come back down. 3 seasons into her WNBA career, those numbers are holding steady at unprecedented levels. That kind of sustained viewership growth means networks can charge advertisers more. It means the league generates more revenue. It means every single player benefits financially from her presence. And they have benefited. The new collective bargaining agreement that went into effect this season proves it. Player salaries are up an average of 356% across the board. The salary cap for each team jumped from $1.5 million per year to $7 million per year. That's a 367% increase. Now, is all of that because of Caitlin Clark? Of course not. The WNBA has multiple legitimate superstars who've built this league. But the timing is impossible to ignore. The explosion happened when she arrived.
Several bona fide superstars in this league. The list is long, but the numbers don't lie. The impact of Caitlin since she came into the league in 2024, it is global. And that's a win. That's awesome for a league that has struggled a lot. They needed to be subsidized by the NBA and private investors for all these years, and they still do to an extent. So why do the players hate her? Is it because she's white? Is it because she's straight? Is it because she's white and straight in a league that is predominantly black and gay and super woke? I mean, I'm not sure any of those things are true. Any players would admit it if they were true, but it feels that way. And it's hard to believe they don't impact the vitriol that does come her way. And by the way, I am totally fine with the punishment the league gave to Alyssa Thomas. She did not choke Caitlin Clark. She was aggressive. She crossed the line. So it was 2 and a 1-game suspension.
She definitely choked her, bro.
So let's address the question that's being whispered but rarely said out loud. Why do some players seem to resent her? Is it because she's white in a predominantly black league? Is it because she's straight in a league where many players are openly gay? Is it because she represents something culturally different in a space that's been proudly progressive and woke? Nobody's going to admit those factors play a role. But watch the interactions, watch the body language. Watch how certain players talk about her compared to how they talk about other stars. The pattern is there, and it's hard to believe those cultural differences don't contribute to the hostility she faces. That doesn't mean it's the whole story, but pretending it's not part of the equation is naive.
Indiana Fever beat one of the worst teams in the WNBA, the Los Angeles Sparks. The Los Angeles Sparks came into this game, I believe, at 8-9. They will be going back to LA with a record of 8-10. Now, I got to be honest with you. This was a very boring game. I did not watch majority of the game. With that being said, I kind of boycotted the game. So we're going to go over the stats. We're going to go over team stats because the game is still currently being played. The Indiana Fever beat the sleeves off the Los Angeles Sparks. Kelsey Mitchell got the stat padding again. It was really just not a very entertaining game. Now, we do know the current state of this team and how people feel about Caitlin Clark. And to me, we still don't have a clear-cut answer as if Caitlin Clark is like how bad her injury is. Now, we heard Stephanie White says yesterday that it's not really that bad. Now, hopefully we get some clarity after this game to like, will she play the next game? Because that's where their season lies, is with Caitlin Clark playing basketball.
Now let's talk about what happened on the court. The Indiana Fever just destroyed the Los Angeles Sparks without Caitlin Clark. The Sparks came into this game at 8-9. They left at 8-10. Final score was 111-83. The Fever shot 56% from the field, 56% from three-point range, and looked completely dominant doing it. And here's what's about to happen. The media is going to have a field day with this. They're going to say exactly what they said last year when she sat out games. They looked so much better without Caitlin Clark. The offense flowed better without Caitlin Clark. Fewer turnovers without Caitlin Clark. You can set your watch to it. That narrative is coming. Kelsey Mitchell led the way with 26 points on 9 of 13 shooting. She hit 4 of 6 from 3 and made all her free throws. The team had only 12 turnovers total, which is excellent for them. Lexi Hull showed out. The rebounding was solid at 41 total boards. Everything clicked, but here's the context that's going to get ignored. The Sparks are terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Kelsey Plum was hurt, so they were already short-handed. This was a game the Fever should have won by 20-plus points regardless of who was playing. And they did.
You're right now. The media is going to have a field day with this one because they beat the sleeves off the Sparks. And what they going to say, what they love to say, exactly what they said last year, they look so much better without Caitlin Clark. The game flowed better without Caitlin Clark. Less turnovers without Caitlin Clark. I'm just letting y'all know right now how this is about to go. Now, this is the second consecutive game that the Indiana Fever has scored over 100 points in the game. So shout out to them for that. But, you know, this is just one of them videos to where, like, I'm still kind of mad about the Alyssa Thomas situation. And I know everybody was not watching this one, you know. And to be quite frank with you, me looking into the stands, it don't look like very many people actually showed up to this game. I just got to be honest, man. The Indiana Fever is currently 83 to 111, 47 seconds left, man. Really boring ass game. The Indiana Fever shot 66 from the field, just destroyed them. They shot 56% from the field. 10 of 18 from 3, shot again 56% from 3.
The arena tells a different story, though. Look at the footage from this game. The building was empty, legitimately empty. The Fever scored over 100 points for the second consecutive game, put on an offensive clinic, and almost nobody showed up to watch it. That's not a coincidence. Caitlin Clark is listed as day-to-day with an ankle injury. Stephanie White said yesterday it's not that serious, but the uncertainty about whether she'd play clearly impacted ticket sales. Because when she's on the court, these buildings are packed. When there's even a chance she might sit, fans stay home. That's the business reality the WNBA is dealing with, and it creates this impossible situation. You have players who've worked their entire careers to build this league, who've sacrificed and grinded through years of low attendance and minimal coverage, suddenly watching a rookie come in and change everything overnight. The resentment is understandable on a human level. But from a business perspective, it's destructive.
Always bitterness when a transcendent player essentially takes over a league like Caitlin has obviously done. But man, I really hope that going forward, her opponents and their coaches, opposing coaches, just do your jobs. Just try to beat her. But to villainize her and in some cases try to hurt her isn't just cheap or just very telling about the character of those players, which I believe is true. This is stupid. It's bad business to try to take out the most popular player your game has ever seen, who has helped bring your league to another level. Bad business. Stop.
So, yeah, it looked like this Caitlin thing is not going to go away. The WNBA has a very, very big problem.
The Alyssa Thomas situation is a perfect example of how this tension plays out. During a recent game, Thomas got physical with Caitlin in a way that crossed the line. The league suspended her for 1 game, and the response to that suspension revealed everything about where we are right now. Some people thought it was too harsh, some thought it was appropriate, but here's what nobody can argue. Alyssa Thomas is an elite player and a competitor. The physicality itself isn't the issue. Players get into it. That's basketball. The issue is the pattern, the repeated targeting. The sense that certain players are trying to send a message that goes beyond normal competitive intensity. And when coaches don't shut it down, when opposing coaches seem to encourage that kind of play, it stops being about basketball and starts being about something else. It becomes about putting the star in her place, about making sure she knows she's not welcome, about protecting territory.
That's what they like to do. I'm telling y'all this right now. Be prepared right now. Reports is going to start coming out of WNBA media how much better they looked at without Caitlin Clark in this game. Kelsey Mitchell had a total of 26 points. She played 26 minutes. She was 9 of 13 from the field, 4 of 6 from from 3-point land. She made all the free throws. She had no blocks, no steals, 2 assists. Is it me, or do she just make it her business to always try to get 2 assists now? I ain't lying. I've been noticing that with Kelsey Mitchell, man. Stat pattern ass. She just make it her business to get 2 assists every game now. Ever since we said something about that, she just been making it her thing to get 2 assists. Now, in other news, y'all notice Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas situation is still going strong. So we got, oh, wow, Lisa Leslie. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Hold on, guys.
Here's what makes this whole situation so frustrating from a business standpoint. The WNBA has struggled for decades, not struggled a little bit, struggled to survive. The league has required subsidies from the NBA and private investors just to keep operating. They've dealt with low attendance, minimal TV coverage, and constant questions about viability. Then along comes a player who changes all of that practically overnight. She brings eyeballs, she brings revenue, she brings legitimacy in mainstream sports media. She makes the WNBA relevant in conversations where it's never been relevant before. And instead of protecting that asset, instead of building around that momentum, there's this undercurrent of hostility that threatens to undermine everything. Because here's the thing about transcendent athletes. They're rare. Michael Jordan didn't just elevate himself. He elevated the entire NBA. Tiger Woods didn't just win golf tournaments. He changed the economics of professional golf forever. Serena Williams didn't just dominate tennis. She brought new audiences to the sport. These athletes come along once in a generation, and when they do, smart leagues protect them, not from competition, not from physicality, but from the kind of targeting that's designed to hurt rather than compete. From the kind of treatment that sends a message, we don't want you here. Because once that athlete gets fed up and walks away, or once injuries force them out early, you don't get that opportunity back. The WNBA has a chance right now to capitalize on unprecedented growth, TV ratings that were unimaginable 5 years ago. Merchandise sales that prove mainstream America is paying attention. Salary increases that benefit every player in the league. All of this is happening simultaneously, and a huge part of that momentum is directly connected to one player. So when you see players taking cheap shots, when you see coaches looking the other way, when you see a pattern of behavior that seems designed to punish rather than compete, you have to ask, what's the end game here? Because if the goal is to drive her out, to make the league so hostile that she loses her passion for playing, then what happens to those TV ratings? What happens to those jersey sales? What happens to the next CBA negotiation when the numbers aren't there to justify continued salary increases? This isn't about Caitlin Clark needing special protection. She's tough. She can handle physicality. She grew up playing against boys. She's been the target her entire career. But there's a difference between competitive intensity and targeted hostility. And the league needs to be smart enough to recognize that difference before they damage something they can't rebuild. The Fever are going to face questions all week about how good they looked without her. The media is going to push that narrative hard, but pay attention to what happens next game when she's back. Pay attention to the attendance numbers. Pay attention to the TV ratings. Because those numbers tell the real story about what she means to this league, regardless of what anyone wants to believe.